Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another fire episode of Gold School Retro NBA, where I'm here to talk about one of basketball's greatest six men to ever grace the hardwood, and just a great athlete who knocked down a echelon of records throughout his career. Jamal Crawford, the guy runs crossover, and that's what he was known for because he had a killer crossover. He had elite shooting capabilities, and his passing acumen was phenomenal. Thank you guys for tuning in once again. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do so. Like, share with any basketball connoisseur or any hoops lover, just as myself. Any hoops fan would appreciate Jamal Crawford because he grew up playing basketball and he loved it. He grew up in the area of Seattle, Washington, and played his ball in Rainier Beach High School in Seattle, Washington, where he was born and raised. Rainier Beach High School has produced not only a great basketball player in Jamal Crawford, it's also produced many others, such as DeJounte Murray, Terrence Williams, Kevin Porter Jr., Doug Christie. And one name that I forgot to end it all, Nate Robinson, who was another phenomenal player that I grew up watching and loving. Undersized, short Nate, had the hoop skills that everybody loved, and a lot of people was a fan favorite, especially me as a diehard Knicks fan, was a fan favorite to me and many others. Especially one of the things that caught my eye when especially watching Jamal Crawford come into the league was that his insane ball handling skills. And you could tell he worked on his game a whole lot since high school, because for him to have the ball handling capabilities that he had, everybody knows, man, that killer quick shifty crossover that he had was just, it was unguardable at times, man. There's the reason why he's had multiple 50-point games throughout his career and broke down a lot of records, which I'm gonna get into later on in the show. But it goes to show you, man, just how phenomenal the guy was, because he could do a little bit of everything. Pass, he could shoot, he could score. He was just extra shifty, knew how to hit the mid range, knew how to, and just was an elite 3-point shooter. I'm talking about this guy was like a knockdown shooter. It was just wonderful watching that arc and that release, and the way that he played the game, so humble, man. It was just like you would never know if Jamal Crawford had a bad game or a good game, because he was very even killed. I think he only got thrown out like one time his whole career, arguing with a referee, because he really didn't complain too much. He just went out there, took his lunch pail, and handled his business on the basketball court. One of the many things I respected about Jamal Crawford. And he actually won a teammate, award later on in his career, which I'm gonna get into. Just goes to show you how humble the beginnings he was, just from coming from home in Seattle, Washington. He helped lead the Rainier Beach Vikings to a 1998 state title in Seattle, Washington. In 2001, a few years after that, the school retired his number 23 jersey to remember the legacy and the impact that he had on the school and helping them achieve a state title. As recently as 2018, the school inducted him into the school's Hall of Fame. Crawford will be recruited by a top school in Michigan, where he will earn a scholarship to play his college ball with the Michigan Wolverines, which would be the start of his phenomenal career. A lot of people don't know the reason why he committed, one of the main reasons why he committed to Michigan was because he was really enthralled with the coach, Brian Ellerby. He would be entrusted into the starting lineup immediately, where he would average 16 points, 4 assists, and 2 rebounds per game, immediately making an impact for the Wolverines. Upon completing his freshman season with the Michigan Wolverines, he would declare for the 2000 NBA draft. Crawford will go on to be selected number 8 in the 2000 draft by the Cleveland Cavaliers, but will be traded with his draft rights along with Chris Mim, traded to the Chicago Bulls. In his first rookie season with the Chicago Bulls, everything wasn't all peach and king. He would struggle with his shooting, only shooting 35% in his rookie season. Despite his shooting struggles, he was still able to notch double-digit points 10 times that season. His rookie season stats would end with 4 points per game, 1 rebound, and 2 assists. He would go on to only start in 8 of those games in his rookie season. Following season in 2001 and 2002, despite missing 23 games and starting in 6, he would see an up in his career, in his averages, improve as 9 points per game, 1.5 rebounds, and 2.5 assists per game. This while shooting 44% from the 3-point line, which he made a name for himself, and it will continue to go on throughout his long, historic career. In his third season, he would flourish under coach Bill Cartwright's offense. He would go on to average 10 points per game, 4 assists, and 2 rebounds, and 1 steal. He would appear in 80 games there in his third season and start in 31 of them. Unfortunately, the Bulls missed the playoffs, and they would end the season with a 30-52 record. Going into this fourth season, Crawford would actually become a starting shooting guard for the Chicago Bulls in his fourth and final season with the Chicago Bulls. He'll go on to average 17 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, and 1 steal. So just year by year, Jamal just kept getting better and better. And I was put on notice because I was a very, very big fan of that 2000 draft class. And Jamal Crawford was the one that I thought that had the most potential out of it. And it just showed because the guy just ended up just knocking down just accolades left and right that I'm going to get into. And April 11th, 2004, he would reach his career high with 50 points against the Toronto Raptors. And I remember that game very vividly, man, because I watched it on ESPN multiple times. I still even watch it to this day. And it was great, man, watching him just, that killer crossover, shifty, good footwork, the passing, the shooting. I mean, his outside shooting was uncanny, man, because if you put Jamal in, especially in a catch and shoot situation, he was lethal, man. And not only that, man, when you put that rock in his hand, he knew what to do with it. If he wasn't going to get a bucket, you better believe he's going to end up getting a fancy assist because not only was he a good scorer, man, he was a good passer. And I enjoy watching Jamal, and I still watch him even to this day. He works for NBA TV. I like watching his analysis and everything about him, man. It goes to show you, man, early on in his career, to reach the plateau of 50 points, it just shows you the trajectory that he was going in. We'll go on to his 6 threes in that game where they would win. And he actually had 24 points in a quarter. It was insane. That guy could not be stopped. He had that ball in his hands, and guess that he was shooting that rock, and he was putting it in that basket, just money. Ending of the 2004 season, he ended up actually coming to my hometown team, the Knicks. And I remember that trade. I was stoked. In that deal, we traded away Othello Harrington, Jerome Junkyard Dog Williams, Caesar Trubinsky, and Frank Williams. And when I found out he was getting traded to the Knicks, I was ecstatic because if you guys remember those mid 2000 years, it was bad, man. And the way they're handling, I'm talking about from top to bottom, front office mess, allegations, sexual allegations, everything, man. The Knicks were just not in a good place, man. There was a lot of just things going on with the Knicks that I didn't like. And watching Jamal Crawford put on that blue and orange uniform just made me forget about that. And then I was ecstatic because with one of my favorite point guards, he ended up playing with Stephon Marbury that season. And Nate Robinson was there, so you had another fellow hometown Seattle, Washington kid, went to the same high school as him. So I know Jamal was motivated. And I remember one play very vividly, man, that it was a game, I forgot who it was against, but he threw the ball. He did the killer crossover that he normally does. Broke between his legs. Next thing you know, he throws it off the backboard and just dunks it. Windmill. I'm talking about box office, like Skywalker type dunk. And that electrified the crowd, man. And that was one of my favorite moments of Jamal Crawford, especially that one particular play, because I remember jumping, watching the game with my father, and we was screaming, going crazy. We DVR'd it, we replayed it multiple times. It was so cool, man, watching him do that because it shows you the athleticism of Jamal Crawford. His crossover was ridiculous, and watching him throw it off that backboard, man, and dunk it the way he did, it was just, I still remember it to this day in my head. He would go on to play in 70 games with the Knicks and started 60 of them. He would go on to average 17 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1 steal per game with the Knicks in his first year. I can remember him, man, putting up 20 points literally almost every other night because that's the type of person he was. He electrified the Knicks, that team, with scoring. Because on many nights, if you look at the stat sheets, man, he was in the 20 points and up range almost every night. Testament to all the hard work and how much of a hooper Jamal was. I remember on one night, he was very efficient, scoring 41 points on 17 of 25 shooting. That's insane, man. Unfortunately, the Knicks would not qualify for the playoffs in Jamal Crawford's first season, despite him having a very, very solid year. The following season, in 2005-2006, he would serve a 6-man role under Coach Larry Brown. And it took a while for Jamal to get adjusted to it. But after I would say like 20 games in, I believe, he started looking a little bit more comfortable into the role. You could tell in the beginning it was an adjustment for him from starting and going in a 6-man role. But he wore that role very well, and he ended up embracing it after a while. In his new 6-man role, he would go on to average 14 points a game, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists, while appearing in 79 games and starting in 27 of them. Unfortunately, once again, the Knicks would finish with 23-59 record and miss the playoffs once again. The Knicks, unfortunately, would finish with a 23-59 record and miss the playoffs once again. The following season, the Knicks would fire Larry Brown and hire Isaiah Thomas, And he would be the 4th coach in 3 seasons because the Knicks were just having a merry-go-round with coaches and they couldn't find stability at that time. Unfortunately, Jamal Crawford would suffer an ACL injury that season where he would only play in 59 games while missing 36. He would go on to average 17 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists that season. And fatal what happened in 2007 and 2008, the following season, he would be entrusted right back into the starting role as a starting shooting guard for the New York Knicks. And he would see his best statistical numbers while starting in 80 games, he would average 20 points, 2 rebounds, and 5 assists per game. This shows you all the hard work he put in. It earned him and it notched him his best career year. This season, he would reach a milestone, which I'm going to show the clip on. He scored 52 points. I said it, 52 points. And while I'm talking about it, take a look at one of his best career nights where he notched his career high. Take a look, y'all.
Going for the steal.
Steph's trying to find a rhythm shot.
Crawford, that's good. 3-pointer from Jamal Crawford.
Team with continuity right now.
Crawford gets past Wade, who fouls it.
Oh, continuation.
Yep, count it, and a foul. So Wade picking up his first, and Crawford with a chance for a 3-point play.
Just take a look at the Matador D by Wade. Right there, the Matador D. And only in the NBA can you take a shot on Friday, and it counts on Saturday.
Again, did not put the ball on the floor. And he'll go to the free throw line. Crawford on the pull-up. Knocks it down. Nice screen set by Jerome James. Inside, blocked by Posey. And Williams with the save, but right to Fry. Lee to Crawford. And finishes. Wild sequence and some terrific hustle plays from both teams. Crawford wide open for 3. It's good. Jamal Crawford with 13 points here. The Knicks go up by 3.
Good play there. Former #1 pick by the Knicks.
Crawford. That's good. Jamal Crawford again. That's his second 3-pointer. And Crawford now with 13 points to play in the first half.
Look at the continuity by the Knicks.
Crawford again for 3. Jamal Crawford with 16 points here in the second quarter. Fires up a 3. It's good. And a foul. Crawford knocks it down and gets hit with a chance for a 4-point play.
Crawford's second opportunity for a 4-point play this season, as he had one earlier in the season. And let's look at the volley by Wade. A belated attempt, he just inadvertently runs into Crawford as he's in the air.
The feet jump going to crush him.
Now he's got to deny Crawford.
Crawford the runner and gets it to go. Jamal Crawford continues his hot streak. He's got 25 points already.
He's been double shacked throughout his career. Ineptitude from the free throw line.
Crawford steps back, puts it in. 10 straight field goals for Jamal Crawford. His greater 12 assists, a season high for Marbury. Channing Frye inside, can't connect. Scramble for the ball. Richardson comes out. Crawford a 3. It's good. Jamal Crawford. You talk to the Heat players, Clyde, they still feel O'Neal gets back as Crawford. Again, Jamal Crawford from way downtown. That's 12 straight shots made for Crawford.
Wade can't keep up with Jamal because of all the screens. He's frustrated.
Crawford puts up the 3. Bang! Crawford again from downtown. An incredible shooting performance from Jamal Crawford. Crawford, that's a 2. Knocks it down. Crawford red hot. 14 straight field goals made for Jamal Crawford.
The crowd paying homage to Crawford now. Some of them on their feet cheering vociferously.
And this Garden crowd getting delirious. He's got 42. All the shooting on the pull-up here. It's good. And a foul. Starting another streak. And Crawford with a chance for a 3-point play.
Haslam befuddled by the call.
So the way it's going. Good to talk to you again. All right, thanks. He knows what it feels like. Back to you, Mike.
He's got 2 of them as David Lee inside. And Crawford gets his first assist of the night.
Once this game is out of control, they must take him out.
Crawford inside, puts it in. 48 points for Jamal Crawford. We're down by 6 after 1. They give up 33 points. Crawford inside. He's got 50. 50 points for Jamal Crawford tonight at the Garden. Crawford puts it in. 52. 16 consecutive field goals and 8 3-pointers at a career high 52 points, and received a huge standing ovation from the fans.
A riveting performance by that man.
You want to know what's the insane part about that? He scored it off of 10 shots consecutively, and he made 8 3-pointers, which was one shy of a Knick career record. That's insane, man. That goes to show you, man, how Jamal Crawford was hooping that night, and that ball was just as wide as the ocean, man, because everything was falling for Jamal, and I remember it to this day, man, and I'm glad you guys got to see a glimpse of it right there for those that haven't seen it. But it was dope watching Jamal just hoop like that, because I knew his day was coming, and I'm glad I was able to see it live and direct. Another crazy part about that is that he almost broke Latrell Sprewell's record, which was set in 2002. That's crazy. Unfortunately, the Knicks would miss the playoffs that season, and the following season, he would only appear in 11 games, and his run with the Knicks came to a screeching halt when he was dealt to the Golden State Warriors for Al Harrington, another person I'm going to be doing a tribute for, New Jersey basketball legend Al Harrington. When Crawford first arrived with the Golden State Warriors, he was a fit because, as you guys know, Don Nelson loved the run and gun offense, and Crawford was perfect for that because Don Nelson loved his passing ability, his playmaking, and most of all, his shooting. The 2008-2009 season, he played in 54 games and started in each and every one of them. During that season, Crawford averaged 20 points per game, 4 assists, and 1 rebound per game. And get this, on December 20th, 2008, he would do it once again. He would reach the 50-point plateau. And I remember that, and that was dope, man. I said, damn, this guy is like doing this like it was like going to the candy store, like scoring 50 points in the NBA. Is just unheard, especially multiple times, and for him to be young and achieving that, I had to tip my hat to Jamal Crawford because that just shows, man, a testament how much of a hooper he was. Guess what? This made him the 4th player in NBA history to do this with 3 teams scoring 50 points, joining the likes of other great legends and Hall of Famers Moses Malone, Bernard King, and Wilt Chamberlain, chairman of the boards. At the end of that season, unfortunately, Jamal Crawford was traded to the Atlanta Hawks in exchange for AC Law and Speedy Claxton. On January 15th that season, he hit a game-winning 3-pointer against the Phoenix Suns. That was dope watching him hit that game-winner because he made it look so easy. I remember that game. It's just like the way, the shot, the arc, the tuck in the elbows, his form was just beautiful. In a win against the Los Angeles Lakers that season as well, he set another record. And get this, for most 4-point plays, surpassing Reggie Miller, another legend. And this guy just has, the more he's getting older, the more he's aging with wine, man. His game just got better and better. And watching him do that, it's like, you start thinking about like, damn, like all the accolades that he made. I mean, 50 points, most 4-point plays, like just doing it just like Reggie Miller. You know, guys all know how great of a shooter Reggie Miller was. So for Jamal Crawford to be doing that, especially on a road where he had to play, you know, back up to Mike Bibby and Joe Johnson, just shows you how hard, man, this guy worked and how hard this guy uprooted his game. He will go on to average 18 points per game, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists coming off the bench for the Atlanta Hawks. And in 2010, he will reach another milestone, winning the 6th Man of the Year award for the Atlanta Hawks. This guy's just knocking down accolade after accolade, man. This is the reason why, like, I have Jamal Crawford is one of my favorite players that doesn't get talked about enough throughout the NBA. Having the joy of seeing him and play with multiple teams and the impact that he made on all those teams, whether it was starting or coming off the bench, that's a testament to all the hard work that Jamal Crawford put into this game. Shout out to Jamal. The Hawks had a really good overall team. They also had Josh Smith and Al Horford right in their prime, and those guys were another 2 hoopers that don't get a lot of love, especially when they were in the Hawks. They were really good basketball players, and Al Horford's still doing it in this league right now, coming off the bench. So basketball runs in his veins, man, and shout out to him for just having such a long NBA career and still being effective. He would reach his first playoffs, first postseason, and in that season he made an impact in that series against the Bucks, where they would come out victorious in 7 games. And in that 7th game, the closeout game, he stepped up and he led the team in scoring with 22 points. Hawks will go on to get swept by the Dwight Howard-led Orlando Magic the following series. Hawks will go on to fire Coach Mike Woodson and bring in Larry Drew. Crawford would serve as a bench role, and he would see his numbers drop to 14 points per game, 3 assists, and 1 rebound. Once again that season, he was still back in consideration to win another Sixth Man of the Year award. The Hawks this season would again qualify for the playoffs, where they would go against in a rematch against the Orlando Magic, where they actually got their revenge and they won that series. Crawford had a big impact. He had made the game-clinching three-pointer, and that three-pointer actually was one of the reasons why they were able to advance. The following round, they would go on to lose to the Chicago Bulls in 6. On December 15, 2011, Jamal Crawford was signed with the Portland Trailblazers. He would go on to average 14 points per game in 60 games played with the Portland Trailblazers. He led the league in free throw percentage with a career-best 92% from the line. Following the lockout-shortened season, he would go on to sign with the Los Angeles Clippers. In that first season with the Clippers, he averaged 16 points per game, 1 rebound, and 2 assists, while playing 29 minutes per game and 76 games played. Once again, he was in consideration for another Sixth Man of the Year award, where he would finish in second place, right next to J.R. Smith, who ended up winning the award. Shout out to J.R. The Clippers would advance to the playoffs that season, but would go down in 6 games to a really good Memphis Grizzlies team. In that playoffs, he was phenomenal, averaging 18 points, 3 assists, and 2 rebounds. The following season, he would win it, which would be a consecutive Sixth Man of the Year award won by Jamal. And it's to tell you, man, how hard he worked and how hard he played in this game. To win 2 Sixth Man of the Year awards is not easy, because that shows the impact you have coming off the bench. That you're not only a bench player that can score, you're the best bench player and the most effective bench player in the league. Hats off to Jamal for that. Not only did he do that, he impacted winning, helping the Clippers set a franchise record with 57 wins and 25 losses. And in 2015, in a win over the Phoenix Suns, he notched another accolade, scoring his 16,000th point. Jamal goes on the following season and goes on to win his 3rd consecutive Sixth Man of the Year award. This guy just knocking down accolade after accolade, man. A true hooper. And there's the reason why I like Jamal Crawford so much, because he was just knocking down accolade after accolade. And not only doing it once, but doing it multiple times. We're talking about career games, 50 points, and just knocking down everything he can get in his way. The quiet assassin, man. That's what I call him, Jay Crossover. And he broke his own record as being the oldest player to win the Sixth Man of the Year award at 36 years old. That's insane. Now, December 2nd, 2016, he passed Vince Carter on the all-time three-point list. Another accolade under Jamal Crawford's belt. February 6, 2017, in a loss to the Toronto Raptors, Jamal Crawford, the 6th NBA player to reach 2,000 three-pointers made. Insanity, man. Just goes to show you how much of a sweet shooter he was. Vince Carter, Jason Terry, and all those guys on that list for a reason, because they were light out three-point shooters, and they made the history books, man. And that's just phenomenal to see all these all-time greats that Jamal Crawford joins on this list, because there's a reason why I feel like he had a very legendary, underrated career. That season, he also passes another legend, Eddie Johnson, with the bench scoring total points, because he was right behind him, only trailing Del Curry. Joined the likes of Ray Allen, Paul Pierce. Also passed Magic Johnson in career scoring, 74. On February 11, 2017, he passed Vince Carter in three-pointers made. Insane, man, from one legend to another. Following season, he was traded for Danilo Gallinari to the Atlanta Hawks, where the Atlanta Hawks would waive him. Following season, July 19th, 2017, Jamal Crawford signs with the Minnesota Timberwolves. December 8th, 2017, he will have his career high with the Minnesota Timberwolves, scoring 23 points in 23 minutes. On June 2018, he will go on to win the Tyman Stocks Award for Teammate of the Year. October 17, 2018, Crawford was signed as a free agent with the Phoenix Suns. On December 7, 2018, that season, Crawford established his career high in assists with 14 assists. January 19, 2019, he scored 16 points, and he tied Del Curry with 11,000 career points, making him the highest person to ever have the most amount of career points as a reserve. So he tied Del Curry with that feat. That's insane, man. This goes to show you how great Jamal Crawford was to be in that illustrious category. We'll go on to average 15 points per game, while pulling down a career-high 6 assists. And this is, mind you, this is his 19th season while he's doing this. Phenomenal. He joined John Stockton on that list as the oldest players to have a high assist rate per 36 minutes. On April 9th, 2019, Crawford recorded his 450-point game at the age of 39. He broke 2 records because Michael Jordan was the previous record holder at the age of 38. So Jamal Crawford doing it at 39 just took over. That's insane, man. The GOAT, man. Took a feat away from the GOAT. And he broke a record that most points scored by a player that wasn't in the starting lineup, 50 points, which was previously held by other Orlando Magic legend Nick Anderson. Get this, he joined Kobe Bryant, players late in their season at 19 seasons, scoring 25 plus more points per game 3 consecutive times. And another fun fact, Jamal Crawford became the only NBA player to score 50-point plus games on 4 different teams. The following season, during the COVID-ravaged year, due to shortage of players, Jamal Crawford was signed by the Brooklyn Nets. He also notched another record on his belt. He became one of 8 players to notch 20 seasons or more in the NBA and to appear in each season, joining the likes of Robert Parrish, Vince Carter, Kevin Garnett, Kevin Willis, Dirk Nowitzki, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. After the season, Crawford would call it quits in March 2022, and he would officially retire. November 2021, he would join the NBA League Pass broadcasting crew alongside former teammate Quentin Richardson. One of the things I loved about Jamal Crawford, like when you hear about him like post-conference and even now in the booth, like talking, especially working on NBA TV, I'm a big fan of his. I shout him out all the time on my Twitter. And he's a very, a knowledgeable person about the game. And you learn so much about the game listening to Jamal Crawford, the in-depth stories, the way he feels about players today, how he talks about the game, and just a good person overall on and off the court, man. Just a high character guy, very noble guy, and I gotta respect Jamal Crawford for that, man. There's the reason why, I really appreciate what he brought to the game on and off the court. Also, Jamal Crawford actually runs a basketball program, a tournament, and it's called the Crossover. And he runs that program, and he has athletes in there. He actually trains athletes in the off season, does secret workouts with them. He's done it with Kyrie Irving, if I'm not mistaken. And he does a lot of things, man, in the basketball community, especially back home in Seattle, Washington, where he grooms a lot of these pro and amateurs, and gets them into from being amateurs to how they can transition into professionals, and makes them better players on and off the court. And I think that's phenomenal what Jamal Crawford is doing for the community. As a basketball fan myself, that growing and loving the game, watching what you do for the youth now, I gotta commend you for that. And man, hats off to you, man. You shaping those youth, man, to be not only high character basketball players, but high character people. But that's gonna wrap up Gold School Retro NBA episode 29. Thank you guys for tuning in on my episode of Jamal Crossover Crawford. Like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, like and share with any basketball fans, and thank you all for tuning in. Got a lot of good things cooking in that kitchen coming up this year. A lot of stuff for Black History Month and players as well. Thank you guys for tuning in. Love you guys.